Traditionally, the night before Halloween is called many things. Some people call it Mischief Night, and some people call it Devil's Night. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Pumpkin Patch. I'm your host James Moser, and tonight is Devil's Night. And to celebrate this eve of Hallows Eve, we've decided to put all of the scariest films that we can find on one particular night. We are continuing with our tradition here on Days of Halloween of taking the scariest films and putting them on Devil's Night, the night before Halloween. So ride with us as we pick 4 films in one Halloween and other media selection to scare the hell out of you. Our selection for the Halloween classic of the day on Devil's Night goes to the 1976 film, The Omen. What's more appropriate on Devil's Night than introducing the world to the Antichrist himself, the son of Satan, Damien Thorn? Because you want scary? Oh, we got scary for you. This film follows the Thorn family after they're suffering from the loss of their baby boy. However, the mother does not know that she lost the baby during birth because Daddy Thorn just went out and got himself a new baby and just handed it to her and said, yeah, this is our son. This is our son the whole time. I'm pretty sure that these two need some kind of couples therapy. You really shouldn't be lying to your partner like that. Now in the story, we about to flash forward a couple of years, and Damien has turned 5 years old. So to celebrate Damien's 5th birthday, they decided to have a huge birthday party. And that thing's got everything. It's got balloons, it's got an evil Rottweiler, it's got cake, and they have hung decorations all over the place. Oh wait, those aren't decorations being hung, that's the nanny. I guess that the agency knew that most nannies don't really want to make it past the 5th birthday anyway, so they went ahead and they sent somebody on over to take over in her place. Somebody that absolutely no one knows, but is super attached to Damien. I'm pretty sure that after that birthday, you guys probably need like family counseling at this point. The mom's starting to get a little sus of the kid, and she's starting to think, you know what, maybe this ain't my bouncing baby boy. And then the father, Robert, has a meeting with another father, a priest, and that priest tells him that he's well aware that that ain't his baby, because that baby is the son of Satan. He's the Antichrist himself. And at that point, you guys probably need exorcist counseling. Is that a thing? Father Marin, is that a thing? I don't know, but they need it. This film was a humongous success when it came out, even won an Oscar for Best Score. But it came out during a time when there was a huge rush on these like evil devil, end times kind of movies with The Exorcist, Rosemary's Baby. And in fact, this film, like last year's selection for the classic of Devil's Night, The Exorcist, it is considered by many to be a very cursed film. And honestly, there's a lot to go into with that. And if you really want to do a little bit more research on this and see a little bit more about that, I highly recommend the Cursed Film series from last night's streaming Friday selection, Shudder. They do an entire series on cursed films. I don't really know if it's cursed, but I do know if your kid's got 3 6s branded on his skull, you may want to actually get that looked at. I don't think that's a skin condition, but maybe it is. I mean, maybe you need like dermatological counseling? I'm not entirely sure, but all I do know, you may want to go ahead and get a demonologist on the phone, and it wouldn't hurt to have a young priest and an old priest on standby. Just saying. Our selection for the overlooked horror film of the day goes to the 2001 film, Frailty. Shh, I can't really tell you a lot about this film, Pumpkin Patch, because this bad boy right here is a hidden gem of a roller coaster. This film stars Bill Paxton, who also directed the film, and Matthew McConaughey. The film is also kind of sort of told in 2 different time periods. The Bill Paxton segments of the film are set in the 70s. He plays the father to 2 kids. And essentially, this movie is a cult film. Not like a cult classic, which I guess it sort of is. Like a film about a cult. But not like a real deep, crazy kind of cult like you see from like Helter Skelter kind of things. We're talking like the dad teaches the 2 kids that an angel came to visit him after his wife died and told him, you gotta kill all the demons that are pretending to be humans out there. And I'm gonna give you 3 tools to do it. A pipe to knock them out, an axe to kill them, and a pair of gloves so that whenever you touch them, you don't see all the evil they do. And that's how he knows who's evil and who's not, because just merely by touching them, he can tell all of the sins that they've done. And of those two kids, one of them totally buys into it, and the other one thinks he's USDA grade complete nut job and has nothing to do with it and wants nothing to do with the family business. The other segments sees Matthew McConaughey as that kid grown up. He's going to the FBI and confessing everything that he knows about his dad and his brother, who are the ones who have been behind the God's Hand killers. And seeing as he don't want to continue with the family business, he's turning all those receipts over to Powers Booth, who's going to investigate exactly what happens. And he's taking him back to the barn where the angel originally showed up and shows him everything. But at the end of the day, Pumpkin Patch, you need to watch this film because this one hits different. And it's very hard to talk about it because it's very twisty, it's very turny, set in two different time periods. But Bill Paxton does an amazing job in his directorial debut. And also, he's fantastic in this role. And so is Matthew McConaughey. I can't recommend this movie enough. It is amazing. Our selections for the late night double feature picture show goes to 2010's Insidious and 2012's Sinister. Yeah, so we're going to cover both of these films at the same time. You know why? Because both of these films aren't part of the Conjuring universe. I know if I'm talking to you, Pumpkin Patch, and you know your horror, you know that Sinister and Insidious aren't part of the Conjuring universe. But for some reason, when someone finds out you're a horror fan, they say they love all the Conjuring movies, and include Insidious and Sinister. And I have no idea why one of those entries is on there. I do understand why Insidious might be on this list, because this film was directed by James Wan, and James Wan has a tendency to cast a lot of the same people. In fact, Insidious has both of the Warrens in it, only they ain't married, and they ain't running a museum, and they ain't hunting down things. But don't worry, they will be the next time James Wan directs a horror movie, which is in fact The Conjuring. Insidious is about a kid who is sort of channeling these interdimensional creatures, these malevolent forces, which, granted, when you see Patrick Wilson in the film, you may think from a distance, this is actually a Conjuring film, but it's not. It's 2012's Sinister that kind of confuses me. Yes, there's a couple of Sinister films, and it's directed by someone who is equally known as a horror director, Scott Derrickson. But this particular film has this weird, almost found footage type feel to it. It's about an author who reached really high acclaim from writing a book, and he's been chasing that ever since then. I mean, and honestly, that almost is the plot for The Haunting of Hill House. Scott Derrickson and Mike Flanagan are both kind of sort of today's masters of horror. So maybe I could see if you think that those are connected, not The Conjuring, because Sinister is very in your face. In fact, Sinister has a bad reputation in the horror community as being just a jump scare movie. It is all about the jump scares, even though Ethan Hawke turns in a fantastic performance, and the storyline of the original one is actually really, really good. But we hope that you enjoy Insidious and Sinister. Just whatever you do, don't say they're part of the Conjuring universe. They're fantastic films in their own right, and the Conjuring universe is an amazing connected universe, and I don't blame you for kind of wanting to lump them together, but they're not the same films. They're not in the same universe. So definitely check them out. Just, the Warrens ain't got nothing to do with this. And our selection for the Halloween and Other Media goes to the chilling adventures of Sabrina. You want Devil's Night, Pumpkin Patch? Guess what? The devil shows up at the end of the very first episode of this show. So you know right off the bat, this ain't the teenage witch that you were watching back in the 90s. It has more of a feel of what is genuine, actual dark magic and dark witchcraft. Ultimately, it's the same story. It's Sabrina, a girl who's coming of age. She's half human and she's half witch. And she has to make a decision, which one are you gonna do? Which one are you gonna be? And all of the decisions that she makes, still trying to be connected to her friends, and still trying to maintain a normal life. Even though she's a witch in league with the devil. She's still got her two aunts, she's got her wonderful familiar Salem, and it's a fantastic show, but it is dark. Don't go in expecting wacky hijinks like we did from the 90s version. This Sabrina is definitely dark, and it definitely fits Devil's Night. That does it, Pumpkin Patch. We hope that you enjoyed the picks for tonight, Devil's Night. We carefully curated today's selection to be the scariest films that we could find and put them all on one night. Scientifically speaking, some of these films are listed as some of the scariest films on Earth, and we thought that it would be a fantastic opportunity for us to have a conversation in the comments. So go on down below and let us know, what are the scariest movies ever? Remember, we did Devil's Night last year, and we chose 4 films back then too. So, what's the scariest movie ever to you? For me personally, I think it's The Exorcist. But boy, The Omen, pretty scary, especially the whole cursed film thing. But while you go on down there to the comments, why don't you stop and click or treat? That's where you like, share, subscribe, and you ring that notification bell. Also, stalk us on all the social media sites. But you know what? If all you ever do is watch these videos, we thank you and we love you. And we hope that you're having a fantastic spooky season and that you're enjoying days of Halloween, even on the scariest night of the year, aka Devil's Night. Is Devil's Night supposed to be scarier than Halloween? Or is Halloween scarier than Devil's Night? I know people set stuff on fire on Devil's Night. I don't know. But thank you for watching, and thank you for riding with the Fall Horsemen, where Halloween lives and fall is forever. Why is it every year I do this, that does that? Something weird going on here. I'm gonna need a young priest and an old priest. Maybe a Great Dane and a couple of kids. I don't know. Maybe get the Warrens involved in this? I don't know. What are those supernatural guys up to? Where is Devil's Night? Here we go. Oh, that's not decorations. That's the maid. She hung herself. I think that's good. I don't know. After the date... Oh, I don't know the date. It's just the 70s. Bill Paxton is the father. Probably needs some kind of form of... Oh, that's not decorations hanging. That's the maid. Our selections for the Halloween... I do understand why Senate still stay connected to her fit. Insidious has Patrick Wilson and... That's all I got.